Good evening and welcome to Friday the 13th of August. Don't step on any lines. Don't break any mirrors. Don't walk under ladders. Watch out for the black cats that pass in front of you. What else is there, Chris? Umbrellas opening up. Anything else I missed?
No,
Can't think of anything else?
Can't think of
You aren't
anything
superstitious then, right?
Just stay out of trouble. Stay indoors and get a good night's sleep.
Well, 891-1330 is the number to call. Jim Nance is still on vacation. Your host tonight are Chris Haynes and Darrell Johnson, executive producer Lynn Shomley. And our question for today deals with errors in baseball. Who was the New York first baseman who committed 3 base errors in the 1963 World Series? First baseman committed 3 base errors in the 1963 World Series for the New York Yankees.
Well, in sports today, the Red Sox announced that they're sending rookie pitcher Rick Jones to the Pawtucket, Rhode Island Farm Club, and that's to make room for another player to be named later. Jones was originally scheduled to pitch against the Oakland A's on the West Coast tonight, and he had put together a 4-1 record in 20 appearances so far this season. His 2.84 earned run average was the best on the club. Well, Reggie Cleveland, he's 6-5. He's going to start tonight in place of Rick Jones, sent to Pawtucket. In baseball today, the Dodgers and Cubs hooked up for a 15-inning marathon, and when the smoke cleared, the Cubs had prevailed by a 3-2 count. The line score in the contest, the Cubs 3 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. The Dodgers 2 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. Tommy John started for the Dodgers. He had relief help from Elias Sosa in the 7th, Charlie Ho in the 10th. Steve Stone started for the Cubs, Joel Coleman in the 10th. The winner is Coleman. He's now 1-5. Ho takes the loss. He's 9-5. 1 home run in the game. It was by Ron Cey of the Dodgers in the 9th inning. That was with bases empty, his 19th of the season. Well, for the first time, the controversial designated hitter rule will be allowed in this year's World Series. Baseball Commissioner Bowie Kuhn cast the tie-breaking vote at the annual summer meeting in Phoenix, Arizona, in favor of allowing the DH in alternate World Series starting this season. The National League owners, of course, have consistently opposed the designated hitter concept and did so again yesterday. The owners are critical of the designated hitter as against the best interests of baseball and contend that it will open the door for designated base runners and other specialized players. American League owners voted at the meeting to hold their expansion draft for the Toronto and Seattle franchises, and that'll take place on November 5th. Darrell?
Well, I'm proud to say, Chris, that my alma mater, Morgan State, will be playing Grambling University for the first time ever. I believe a college team has ever played in Tokyo, Japan. Next month, September the 25th. Earl Banks, who was the coach when I was at Morgan State, now the athletic director, says that the 2 teams have accepted an invitation from the Japanese government, and the Grambling marching band will also perform and make several appearances in Japan. So I think now football has become an international sport. But we have a phone call right now, Chris. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello.
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 Yeah, say something.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine. What could I do for you?
I'd like to answer that question.
Why don't you turn down your radio? You sound like our first bad luck on August the 13th. Turn your radio down, please.
Yeah, it's down south.
All right, now, you like to answer which question?
That one on who's the first baseman in '63?
Go right ahead.
Who's Roger Mars?
No, sir. You're incorrect.
Sorry.
All right, thanks for your call. This is going to be... Hello, you're on the radio. Hello?
Hi, Darrell?
Yes.
How are you?
Fine, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Very good, thank you, caller.
Good. Did you get an answer to that question yet?
No, we had one wrong guess.
All right, how about Moose Skowron?
No, that's incorrect.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
You are kidding.
1963 New York Yankees. I better check it out again. I'd hate to say that you're wrong and you're right. Let me make sure, all right?
Okay.
Caller, what do you think about Morgan State and Grambling hooking up in a big football game in Japan?
I saw an article in the paper yesterday where they're having San Diego's playing out there. I think it's Monday, isn't it?
Yeah. They're going international with football now. They can't make enough money in the United States, so they want some of that Yang money.
The Yang money, Yen money.
Yen, whatever.
Yeah, yin yang.
Wasn't the World Football League supposed to branch out into the Tokyo there at one time?
Yeah, they were supposed to go to Tokyo and a city in Rome too. City called Rome. It was Rome, Georgia, though they couldn't get there.
Nice going.
No, the World Football League had a lot of trouble playing in the United States. Believe me.
Oh, I know that.
We played in Hawaii, which was very interesting, but I know they wanted to go to Mexico City, but Japan I'm not sure about.
I can't really see a team, a franchise going into Tokyo. A very simple reason: the traveling time for one thing, plus the expenses for another thing. It's going to be kind of hard.
You know, a lot of sports are going international, caller. A lot of these, for instance, in the World Hockey, a lot of the teams take their training camps in Europe, Finland, Sweden, wherever. And several of the Yankee Conference college football teams, amongst them University of Rhode Island, were going to go to Germany for their spring drills last year. It was canceled at the last minute, but I think it might be up on the agenda this season.
I really can't buy a franchise out in Tokyo. I can't really see any long-range training camps out there. A lot of the hockey players are going over there playing in the off-season.
Yeah, I think you can look for in the future in professional sports international competition as opposed to, the national competition. They're going to branch out because there's a lot of interest in the American professional sports, and it's a lot of money over there. I mean, look how much money Muhammad Ali made for fighting a Japanese sumo wrestler. $6-point-some-odd million for that particular fight.
Did you call that a fight?
Well, whatever they wanted to call it, the people paid for it.
What you commonly call a wrestling.
A wrestling?
Wrestling, not wrestling, wrestling.
Yeah, but the people paid for that, and I think that, some money-hungry promoters see this, and they're going to take professional sports outside of this country.
Yeah, I don't think, I just can't buy it because the financial situation, it's going to be astronomical. It's going to be so high.
I have to agree with you, but they're going to try it.
Well,
I'm sorry you were wrong.
I'm still wrong, huh?
Yes, sir.
You're a nice guy.
All right. Have a nice day.
You too.
This is your Sports IQ with Chris Haynes, executive producer Lynn Shomley, 891-1330. Answer the question about the New York Yankee first baseman. We'll be right back.
Great dining can be found at reasonable prices at the Loft Restaurant, where every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evening, the Loft features its Dinner for Two special. Start your meal with a crock of French onion soup, hot breads, and a fresh salad. For entrees, choose from such items as steak teriyaki, broiled scrod, and veal cordon bleu. All this served with potato and vegetable, and a delicious dessert ending with chocolate mousse. The entire dinner for two is served for only $9.95. Enjoy the garden atmosphere and the great food of the Loft. 2 complete dinners for $9.95. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night at the Loft Restaurant, 144 Moody Street, Waltham.
Sam's Outlet, located at 487 Moody Street, Waltham, and 107 East Berkeley Street, Boston, is a unique shopping experience. Sam's is a very different Army and Navy store. Sam's Outlet carries the finest and pre-washed garments, such as landlubber halter jumpsuits, short-sleeve jumpsuits, and a tremendous variety of stylish jeans. Also, Sam's has the landlubber dress coat, both long and short-sleeved. Sam's Outlet carries a huge inventory of Wrangler products, such as jackets, flares, straights, lightweights, heavyweights, in both pre-washed and regular denim. Just arrived for immediate selling are Wrangler flared corduroys in many colors at only $10.99. For the sportsmen, Sam's has camping equipment, such as Eastern backpacks, sleeping bags, Converse sneakers, and the internationally famous Spec track, tennis, and basketball sneakers. Sam's Outlet has clothes for the hard hat, too, specializing in brand names like Carhartt and Carter's. The feature of the week is a 100% polyester double knit tennis jacket for only $5 if you mention Jim or Daryl's name. It's a $15 value for only $5, but you must say the secret words, Jim or Daryl. When on Moody Street, visit Sam's Outlet and meet Ron the Rascal, Dynamite Dawn, and Jovial George. Remember, Sam's Outlet, an Army and Navy boutique.
Arthur Blair Associates is one of Boston's most prestigious secretarial placement agencies, specializing in banking, investment, publishing, legal, and media services. And we have a problem. We have too many positions and not enough qualified applicants. Salaries range from $150 to $245 a week, covering metropolitan Boston and a 25-mile radius. Please call 723-8130 or drop in at 19 Congress Street, Boston. That's Arthur Blair Associates, 19 Congress Street, Boston. The number to call again is 723-8130. Ask for Tom Fenney.
This is your Sports IQ, WHET 1330 on the dial, and we have a phone call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, Dow.
Yes.
I'd like a hockey question.
You'd like a hockey question? I tell you, I'd love to give you a hockey question, but we found out yesterday that it's just too difficult for me to thumb through this book to find your hockey question, so you'll have to answer the question that I asked earlier, all right?
Okay, what was it?
Who was the first baseman for the New York Yankees who committed 3 base errors in the 1963 World Series? Running short of time. Hello.
Chris Chambers?
No, that's incorrect, sir.
Okay.
Thanks for your try, all right? Hello, you're on the radio.
Hello,
Yes, say something.
can I have a baseball question?
Yes, you may. The same one I just finished asking. Who was the New York first baseman who committed 3 base errors in 1963?
I remember this one. I read this in the magazine. Joe Pepitone?
Yeah, you read correctly. That's the right answer, Joe Pepitone. So you stay on the line, all right, and give your name and address to our executive producer, and we appreciate your call. Congratulations, and don't step on any lines because it is a Friday the 13th.
Okay.
All righty, thank you. Authorities in Tampa say Kansas City Chief tackle John Matusak will be served with misdemeanor charges of possession of marijuana if he returns to the Florida city. The Chiefs are scheduled to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers October the 31st. Maybe they'll forget by then, huh, Chris?
Well, he's had a lot of problems, I guess, in his stormy career. When he jumped to the World Football League, was served with an injunction on the sidelines when he was, I believe, with your club, the Houston Texans, for a game. And I guess some other incidents happened to him. He was accused of assaulting an individual.
Well, they said it was misdemeanor, so I think it was just a matter of getting some publicity for the October 31st game in advance.
And let's see, a Houston newspaper says the National League Astros may be sold soon to a group headed by a local real estate developer. The price mentioned is $45 million. That's a lot of money. That is for the Astrodomain Corporation, parent of the Houston Sports Association and owner of the amusement park Astroworld, which is adjacent to the Astrodome. And we've got a phone call. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, I wanted to answer that Joe Pepitone question, but I'll take another one if you have one.
It's going to take me some time to find one.
Caller, what's on your mind in the world of sports tonight?
Well, I wondered if you had heard that the Red Sox sent Rick Jones down to the minors.
We announced that right at the top of the show.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised. How about yourself?
Well, I happened to be listening to another station for a minute. They had an interview with Don Zimmer.
Tisk, tisk.
And
Another station, huh?
well, I was just wanted to get some details so I could pass it on to you guys.
Oh, well, we appreciate that. I was going to say, you sure you haven't called the wrong show?
And Zimmer seemed to indicate it was for disciplinary reasons. I guess, he missed the plane last week, and I guess that hasn't been cleared up. And
I think that's a little harsh for missing a plane.
I do, too. There must be more.
According to the newspaper account, he had a good enough reason. Wasn't he with Dewey Evans and got caught in the hurricane or something like that?
I don't know what it was, but there must be more to it than that.
Who's going to be the player to be named later? They're talking about, making room for another player.
Well,
Who do you think it'll
Zimmer
be?
seemed to indicate that there was no other big thing cooking and that it was simply disciplinary. And that he might be brought back in September.
The way he was pitching, I would think if you want to discipline the young man, fine him. Don't send him down. He's been a bright star in a rather dismal season thus far for the Red Sox.
I agree completely. He's got the best ERA in the team and rather strange.
All right, here's a two-part question for you, all right?
Sounds difficult.
It is difficult. That's why it took me so long to get back to you. What two third basemen led the National League in walks 7 times between 1961 and 1968? That's 2 third basemen led the league, National League, in walks 7 times between those years.
Is Ken Boyer one of them?
And your next?
Well, third baseman. Giving any clues?
No, I'm not. Time's running short, sir.
I don't have another guess.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, that makes you wrong.
Okay.
You were wrong, Ken Boyer, also, though.
Oh, I was?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't feel so bad.
Okay, thanks for your call.
Okay, bye.
891-1330 is the number to call. And it is likely that the Dallas Cowboy quarterback, Cliff Longley, is on the trading block today. His on-again, off-again quarterbacking feud with Roger the Dodger Staubach exploded yesterday in a one-punch knockout fight, sending Roger the Dodger to the hospital for 10 stitches to close up a cut above his eye. Should have been in boxing. This guy.
Roger claimed that he came from behind. He had just put on his shoulder pads and he never saw him coming. But that's a little unusual.
I've been in a few street fights and locker room fights. It's hard to get hit in the eye from behind. Unless you have one of those long hook shots. So I believe that maybe my man just might have won that fight. Also in football, only half of the stadium is expected to be full tonight when the Buffalo Bills play against the New Orleans Saints because there will be minus Not just O.J. Simpson, but wide receiver Ahmad Rashad and also J.D. Hill, who Lou Saban has gotten rid of. He did not get rid of O.J., but O.J. wants out, and Ahmad's going to Seattle, and J.D.'s gone.
So who else do they have? I mean, those were the only biggies, right?
Well, I'm sure they came up with somebody. They have a guy by the name of Ron Holiday, but he's injured right now. He was one of the superstars in the World Football League, which goes to show you what kind of caliber of team Buffalo had this year.
If the New Orleans Saints were coming to town here, I'd bet you that less than half the stadium would be filled. They're not exactly a top draw.
Oh, no.
Although Hank Stram will probably inject some fire into that club.
Plus, there are a lot of people here in New England that they have not seen Chuck Muncie. And Chuck Muncie was the top-rated running back from the University of California last year.
Excellent runner.
And their first-round draft choice. And then they have another little bull in that backfield by the name of Tony Galbraith. And, New Orleans looks pretty good.
Tony Galbraith, a fine runner out of the University of Missouri, who all but decimated the Alabama Crimson Tide last September the 8th.
You know what, Chris? I wonder if the New York Giants fans know that there have been some odds coming out of Lake Tahoe. And, that's not Jimmy the Greek, but it's a person that has NFL odds. And they'll give you a chance to make a little mind wager as to the opportunity the Giants will have of winning their division. Not the division, but the NFL. And the Giants are 40-1. Patriots are 50-1, so they're fighting very hard. Tampa's 200-1. New Orleans is 60-1, and Seattle's 200-1. So the Giants are rated with probably the 4 worst football teams out of 28.
Doesn't surprise me. Well, let's see. An eye doctor who gave up his practice to try the Pro Tour, that's Dr. Gil Morgan. Well, he's matched the PGA Golf Championship record for 36 holes, and he shot a 2-under par 68 and has a 4-stroke lead. The 29-year-old Morgan, winless in 4 years as a pro, had a 6-under par total of 134 for 2 trips around the hilly Congressional Country Club course. That tied the championship record set by Jerry Barber in 1959 and matched last year by Bruce Crampton. Tom Kite managed a 72, which included 4 straight bogeys midway through his round, and he's alone in second place at 138. First-round leader Tom Weiskopf and Don January are at 139, and they're both 1 stroke ahead of Jack Nicklaus and Ben Crenshaw. And there was an interesting letter to the editor in this morning's Boston Globe where one of the readers commented that he felt too much ballyhoo was being made about communist athletes being professionals. He felt that communist athletes are no more professional than American collegians who are going to school under college scholarships. And I'd like to throw this out to our listening audience. What do they feel? I mean, we've heard it all throughout the Olympics. The communists are professionals. They play all year round. What about collegians? Collegians attending school under the auspices of athletic scholarships. Would this classify them as professionals?
Tell you what, Chris, I played football with some friends that went to big schools, and they said they had to take a salary cut to come to the pros. So maybe that article had some merit to it. I have another question, and this is fielding shortstops, since it's Friday. Who was the last shortstop to complete an unassisted triple play? 891-1330, that's the number to call if you know who the last shortstop was to complete an unassisted triple play.
Tonight on WHET at 8:05, you'll be able to hear the Waltham team of the Mickey Mantle League playing against Tulsa, direct from Shermanville in Texas, and this will be heard at 8:05 here on WHET, so if you're a sports-minded person in the Waltham or Greater Boston area, do tune in. And now a message from Nautilus in Newton. Wouldn't you like to increase your athletic ability and at the same time enhance your physical appearance? Do it quickly and efficiently with Nautilus equipment. Nautilus training takes just 30 to 40 minutes a workout and increases strength, flexibility, and cardiovascular endurance. Nautilus uses full-range rotary motion with variable resistance to build your natural strength curves, and these gains are easily applied to any athletic activity. Nautilus has an intense summer program for serious athletes now underway. Come down and give Nautilus a try. You receive a free trial workout that will make you a believer in the Nautilus way to better physical fitness. That's Nautilus in Newton, 160 Charlemont Street, near Route 9 and just off Route 128, at exit 56E, Needham Street. The phone number is 965-0380. Call for more information.
We'd like you to know that every night Magoo Saloon, 1391 Washington Street, Route 16, West Newton Square, shows first-rate, full-length motion pictures, and there's no admission charge. Why pay from $2 to $4 to sit in one seat quietly all night when you can go to Magoo Saloon and watch a great flick while you have a drink or something to eat, talk with your friends, or even have a cigarette if you like, plus free hot popcorn when you purchase a pitcher of beer during the movie. So stop in and pick up a movie schedule or call Magoo Saloon at 527-9553. That's Magoo Saloon, 1391 Washington Street, Route 16 in West Newton Square. You can also catch all the televised sports events on Magoo's giant screen television.
You know every day's a special day at Gyro's Restaurant, 1314 Beacon Street, Coolidge Corner in Brookline. The breakfast from 6 to 11 features this fine special: eggs, bacon or sausages, toast, coffee, and home fries, all for $1.25. Lunch and dinner will be served till 9 p.m. In addition to the fine American dishes on the menu, you can get these various Greek-American delicacies: baked and roast lamb, spinach pie, chicken and pilaf, moussaka, and all types of Greek salads. So make your day a special day at Gyro's, 1314 Beacon Street, Coolidge Corner in Brookline. Tell them you heard it on your Sports IQ. I want you to get over to Gyro's, drop in, and say hello to your genial host, Mr. George Paris. And we've got some phone calls. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello. I'd like to answer the question on the third baseman walks in the National League.
Okay. The two third basemen who led the National League in walks. Go ahead.
Yeah, one Ron Santo,
And?
Chicago.
Okay.
The other one, Eddie Matthews at Atlanta.
And you're absolutely right, sir. Absolutely correct. Ron Santo now toiling with the Chicago White Sox. Eddie Matthews, for years, a power-hitting third baseman.
Started off with the Boston Braves. He played for 3 different National League franchises.
That's right.
Went to Milwaukee and then Atlanta from Boston.
Later became a manager.
Right. Over 500 home runs.
A definite, real slugger.
Right.
Caller, what do you think of the comment that I threw out earlier about collegiate athletes being professionals in the same vein as the, say, communist bloc athletes? Do you agree with that statement by the writer?
No, I don't. No. I'd strictly keep it separate, just the way it is.
Keep what separate? What would you keep separate, sir?
Well, I like all these college athletes to remain just as they are.
What the column was saying was that the communist athletes are basically in the same category as one that's going to school on a full scholarship.
They're getting subsidies of different sorts, aren't they, Darryl?
Yeah, but they're considering scholarships on the college level subsidizing an athlete also, evidently. Now, I believe that, I know quite a few athletes that went to big schools, and in all honesty, they said they had to take a salary cut to play pro football. They were given apartments and cars and clothes. They call it, transportation money or spending money. So that's basically the same thing. If I was paid to play football in college, plus get a free education, that's basically a professional athlete, don't you think?
Well, yes, but then you've got different types of universities, such as the Ivy League now. They claim they don't give anything but academic scholarships. Am I right?
You're right. Brown University gives nothing but athletic scholarships, and I believe that the majority of the other Ivy League schools give nothing but, academic scholarships. But I'm talking about the Big Ten, Pac-8.
Well, that would have to be worked out pretty good because you've got different kinds of policies within these various, like in the NCAA, like I mentioned, the Ivy League, right? What about the athletes in the Ivy League, right?
Yes.
That's a point to be brought up, but it have to be worked out in fine detail now.
Well, I won't agree or disagree with you. I've just wondered what you thought about it.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I still like the way things are being handled now.
All right, we'll let it stay that way then.
Okay.
Caller, you stay on the line and give your name and address to our executive producer.
All right, nice talking to you, Dal.
Nice talking to you also.
Yeah, bye-bye.
That is a very interesting question. I don't, would you consider a guy on scholarship in college basically professional?
It depends. In a lot of those schools, let's make no bones about it, a lot of those players are there simply to play the game. You've had cases over the years of a lot of serious abuses, and I take in point the 1968 Texas Western basketball team. These fellows were recruited, they won the national championship, and after their eligibility expired, the school kind of lost track and didn't care of what happened to them, and thus many didn't graduate. But we've got a phone call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, Hi, Chris. I wanted to speak to Daryl a second.
He's right here.
Hi, Daryl. I know that you went to Morgan State College.
That's right.
Yeah, and I heard you say that they're going to Japan to play in a bowl game there.
They want the best teams in the United States to play against each other, so they invited Morgan State and Grambling University.
Hey, I really think that's terrific. But, I was wondering, why is it that, on all the bowl games that are on New Year's Day or whatever, how come some of these black colleges, more of them, don't get invited to these big bowl games there? Why is it that they have to wait and get an invitation from Japan to go?
That's a very good question. Believe me, I wanted the same thing. I can say for a fact that while I was at Morgan State, we played in the Tangerine Bowl in Orlando, Florida, which they considered not a major bowl, but not a minor bowl.
Yeah.
And Grambling University played in the Junior Rose Bowl in California. And as to why they will not have more participants from predominantly black school and bowl games, it's hard to say. I do know that while I was there, the white universities, the major white universities, said they had nothing to gain by beating a predominantly black school, them going on the assumption that they were going to whip us. While I was at Morgan State, we never lost a game. As a matter of fact, we played Navy in scrimmage, and the score was 66-0 in the second quarter, and the coach took his team off the field, the Navy team. So I really couldn't tell you that. That's a very interesting question. Maybe they don't feel that it's a big enough draw for television. I believe television has a lot to do with bowl selections.
Yeah. Well, the only way these colleges are going to become better known or what have you, or get any exposure, is if somebody gives them a chance. Maybe this idea of them going to Japan will be a stepping stone to them getting more publicity or getting on TV more here in the United States.
That's true, and I'll tell you, I'm a Morgan State fan at heart, but Grambling will beat the pants off of Morgan State. And on top of that, people don't realize, but Grambling played Oregon State last year and whipped them, which is in the Pacific Coast Conference, where they picked the winner of that particular conference to go to the Rose Bowl. Mm-hmm. And Grambling also flew over to Hawaii and beat them. So Grambling is playing anybody that will play them, and they're winning their games. And I cannot understand why Grambling, maybe I can understand Morgan, but I cannot understand why Grambling has not been invited to a major bowl game, outside of fear and the fact that television doesn't feel that they're a big enough draw.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to knock Morgan State. I'm with Morgan 100% of the way. There have been a lot of great football players out of Morgan, and I think they're really going to give Grambling a hard time.
You're talking to one.
I know. It should be really an interesting game, and I really hope that this will be a stepping stone for them to get more publicity here in the United States.
Caller, the only thing I have to add to that is, had this game taken place when people like Darrell Johnson and Frenchie Fuqua were playing at Morgan State, there's no question that Japan would never have recovered from the blow.
I know, and they've won them back every year, too. Thank you very much for your call.
Thank you for your call.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. 891-1330, that's the number to call. You're on the radio.
Hello?
Hello?
Hold on.
Yes, please, cut your radio.
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yes, I'd like to answer that question about the Russian athletes and the American student athlete.
Miss, before you answer the question, could you turn your radio down just a trifle, please?
You're gonna have to turn your radio down. It's too loud. We're getting the feedback through the headphones.
All right, sir. I turned it off.
All right.
Very good.
All right. The first thing I do want to say, I think the NCAA should make one ruling for all athletic scholarships, regardless of whether you're Ivy League or whatever league you fall into. I don't see where a boy who goes to one of the Ivy League colleges is any different than a boy who goes to a non-Ivy League college.
I agree with you.
And I think the benefits of an athletic scholarship should mean the same regardless of what school you go to. I also feel that the schools should keep in mind that once they recruit these boys, whether they play football, hockey, basketball, whatever it is, they should keep in mind that they're also there for an education. And therefore, I don't think you could consider them as being professional if they do keep the standards up, including their academic standards as well as their athletic ability.
That sounds good, Miss, but in real life, in major college level, and also in the... hello? If she hung up on it, I'll still answer the question. When you go to a major college, there's a lot of money involved when you can sell 90,000 tickets or 80,000 tickets, so you have to have a good product on the field. And to get a good product, sometimes you have to bend your entrance requirements. There have been quite a few recruiting violations in the major colleges, and it's basically because they're good athletes, they want them at this particular institution, and they know that they can sell tickets. So the name of the game is money, because football basically supports 90% of the athletic program in any school. Sure, the NCAA should set one standard, but they don't, and this is a double standard country anyway, so it just falls right in line with everything else that happens in the United States. 891-1330 is the number to call if you can answer our question about the shortstop. I believe that was the question.
Unassisted triple play.
Right. We'll be right back.
Don't blow your cool. When the mercury starts to climb, your automobile's engine runs hotter too. Let
Ralph Wilson is being a bit unfair in the fact of not allowing him to go to where he wants to play. And it's been written that Carl Rosenblum has made Ralph Wilson a very attractive offer. They did not name the players, and for some reason there's a stalemate there.
All right. My question, though, actually, what I really mean is, what will St. Peter do? Do you think he'll intervene and try to make a move?
St. Peter will do nothing until the owners tell him to do something. When they find out that O.J. Simpson does a lot for TV ratings, then you'll see St. Peter step in. But St. Peter, it will not jeopardize his $85,000 a year job for one person.
You know, caller, I'd like to add this. I think you've got a situation where you have a couple of real, not stubborn personalities, but strong personalities in Ralph Wilson and O.J. Simpson. In normal circumstances, one side might play the waiting game, say, as in a strike situation. The owners usually hold all the aces, and they can afford to, to wait and finally bring the players to their knees. But in this situation, let's face it, O.J. Simpson doesn't have to play another season of football, so you might have a long wait. It reminds me a bit about the Ken Dryden situation a few years ago in hockey, where Ken Dryden decided he was going to hold out because many people rated him as the top goaltender in hockey, yet he knew he was not being paid on a par with other top goaltenders. And Montreal management waited, Ken Dryden waited, and finally Ken Dryden went back and he did his year's apprenticeship in a law firm and didn't play hockey at all that season. So I think you've got a case where you've got two strong personalities clashing, and it may wind up with O.J. sitting on the sidelines for the entire season.
Okay, I agree with you, but what I can't understand, well, I understand, of course, but this situation is unprecedented in sports. He is the number one star. I mean, he's head and shoulders, in my opinion, and obviously numerous other people's opinions.
Right.
This guy, I mean, every time they talk about Jimmy Brown now, they mention O.J. I mean, this guy is the best. And just think, I mean, I would not turn on Buffalo versus anybody, really, well, I shouldn't say anybody, but Buffalo versus, quick one, Atlanta, if I knew O.J. was not playing. Because, I mean, now, really, even though I'm a football fan, it takes so much out of the game. I just cannot believe that they are going to allow this man not to play, if you know what I mean. He's too valuable to the league.
I think that they have to let him not play, because if they're bend to O.J. Simpson's demands, then suppose Fran Tarkenton demands the same thing, or Joe Namath demands the same thing, or Sam Cunningham demands the same thing. Once they start that particular thing to happen, and they can see the trouble at the end for it, the game will miss O.J. Simpson, but the game will go on. It went on without Jim Brown. It went on without John Unitas. It went on without a lot of great stars. So O.J. is a great athlete, true, and I hope that he gets an opportunity to play this year, but the game will go on without him. And he has to recognize that.
No, you have a good point there. You're right. But, it's just hard for me to fathom the fact that, the guy won't be playing. What is he, 31?
No, O.J. is just 29 years old.
29.
Yeah, O.J. got out of school in 1969.
That's too bad.
That was his first year in the league. And I admit that he will cut the attendance down in quite a few games, because people go to see superstars, and O.J., beyond a doubt, is a superstar. But the game will survive without him. The Patriots find themselves struggling right now because they did not know the worth of Jim Plunkett. So they're struggling in season ticket sales because they don't have what you consider established superstar that they've built up. They've built Jim for the last 5 or 6 years, rebuilding around Jim Plunkett. Now they have to start again with Sam Cunningham.
Right.
And it's going to take some time. So it'll be the same thing in football when O.J. leaves.
Haven't you noticed that already, though, beating the drums for Sam Bam?
Right, but Sam Bam is not a bad running back, believe me. If he stays healthy, he's the quickest big man I've seen in a long time. He's not bad at all.
Well, can he do it alone, though? That's the big question. If he doesn't have that man...
I think he's got a lot of help in the backfield. I mean, people keep saying he's the only one. From what I saw of Alan Carter last year, he proved he could run the football. Then you've got Andy Johnson. Now, Andy Johnson could play anywhere. He could take tickets. He could do everything. And I think there's another fellow that's going to be heard of. And, you know, despite the fact that a couple of our callers were down on Ike Forte, I mean, let's face it, he's a rookie. He's adjusting to the system. So I think they've got a lot of depth at the running back position.
How can they be down on Forte, Chris? He's only carried the ball a few times, appeared in 2 games, and has an injury.
Right, well, you'll have to talk to our callers because they're the ones that knocking him. I can say one thing about Andy Johnson. He won't have to worry about selling tickets for the Patriots or collecting them because they're having a tough time.
He can do that between timeouts.
Yeah, we appreciate your call, all right?
All right, Darryl, do you have anything for me tonight? Any mind-bogglers?
Yeah, I will. I'll give you one, all right?
Shoot.
But not right now. I got to break for a commercial.
Okay.
Keep listening.
Right.
891-1330. That's the number to call. We'll be right back.
Are you still looking for that retail store that treats you as a person and not a number? Well, look no longer. Auburndale Sports Shop has always taken pride in personally serving their customers. Their aim is to see that you are not only satisfied with their product, but happy with their service. For the summer, Auburndale Sports has a large selection of tennis rackets and equipment. They also offer racket restringing and regripping. They carry most major lines of baseball and softball equipment and can replace and repair that old equipment you thought was useless, including bat regripping. For the fall season, Auburndale Sports can outfit you or your team for hockey, basketball, or football. They also shop in skates while you wait, and they will take your old skates and trade towards the purchase of new ones. So for any sport, any time of the year, come to Auburndale Sports Shop, 419 Lexington Street, Auburndale, for the equipment you need and the service you've always wanted. Call 965-3356. We're not far from the Marriott.
Great dining can be found at reasonable prices at the Loft Restaurant, where every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evening, the Loft features its Dinner for Two special. Start your meal with a crock of French onion soup, hot breads, and a fresh salad. For entrees, choose from such items as steak teriyaki, broiled scrod, and veal cordon bleu. All this served with potato and vegetable, and a delicious dessert ending with chocolate mousse. The entire dinner for two is served for only $9.95. Enjoy the garden atmosphere and the great food of the Loft. 2 complete dinners for $9.95. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night at the Loft Restaurant, 144 Moody Street, Waltham. Arthur Blair Associates is one of Boston's most prestigious secretarial placement agencies, specializing in banking, investment, publishing, legal, and media services. And we have a problem. We have too many positions and not enough qualified applicants. Salaries range from $150 to $245 a week, covering metropolitan Boston and a 25-mile radius. Please call 723-8130 or drop in at 19 Congress Street, Boston. That's Arthur Blair Associates, 19 Congress Street, Boston. The number to call again is 723-8130. Ask for Tom Fenney.
The first time ever televised, we ever had a game that was televised, we played against a school called Hofstra. The athletic director came into the locker room and he says, now listen, fellas, he says, you guys are on television, he says, and this is the first time for you. He said, I am not really concerned with winning as I am with the fact that you guys are on television and there are certain areas of your body that you shouldn't touch because it's embarrassing to the people watching TV. So the guy says, yeah, okay, we know what you're talking about. So he made us sign an affidavit promising that we would not touch certain areas of our body, you know. So we ran out on the field. I don't know why it happened to me. First time I carried a ball, I went up to this hole, and I saw the guy on the ground. He was a defensive man. He was down, and I started to step over him, and just as I raised the left leg, he came up and really hit me. Wacko! You know, in the worst place. And I said, oh! And I started to grab you. You'd better not touch any areas of your body. So I grabbed my head. And I went into the huddle, guy said, what's the matter? I said, I really have. And to make it look good, they bandaged up my head.
Well, you figure that one out. Just a reminder, fans, a WHET Sports exclusive tonight at 8:05. The Waltham Mickey Mantle Baseball Club will be playing Tulsa, and all the action will come to you from Shermanville, Texas. And we've got a phone call. Hello, you're on the air.
So, how was your birthday?
Why? It was all right.
Happy birthday again. One question.
Yes, sir.
What's the scoop on Roger Staubach? How come he's beating up the second-string quarterback?
Vice versa, sir. The second-string quarterback beat up Roger Staubach.
Why, because he couldn't get his position?
For whatever reason, he beat him up. He had 10 stitches in his eye, and we don't know the reason. We can
That's a second fight they've had this week, caller.
Oh, really?
So maybe we could get Don King to arrange a rubber match down in Irving, Texas. Sure.
Is he still on the team, though, this guy?
Well, he is...
He's been suspended right now.
He's in the wind. There's always been a lot of trouble in Dallas. You know, I remember when Reggie Rucker was down in Dallas, he popped a few guys in the lip while he was down there, and he was traded to the Giants. So we can look for Cliff Longley to be traded elsewhere.
Really?
Yeah, he won't be on Cowboy this year. Not hitting the star.
Is he pretty talented, though?
Well, the only game I remember Cliff Longley really being talented was when he threw quite a few passes in a game on television, and Howard Cosell made him a big star for that day. But outside of that, he's an average quarterback. That's about it.
So he won't be missed then, really?
No, absolutely will not be missed at all because both him and Roger Staubach are average quarterbacks in my estimation.
How does it feel to be over 35, Bush?
It doesn't feel bad being over 35 when I get there. Did you know that Morgan State was playing in Japan?
No.
They're playing Grambling University in Japan, September the 25th.
Is that right?
Yep, first time ever two black schools have ever played outside of this country.
Could you get me tickets?
Yeah, I can get you a ticket.
We'll take care of the tickets. You'll have to take care of the airfare, caller.
I'll get you a ticket to the game. You get over there.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
All right, take care, bro.
Bye-bye.
That was my brother. And he called very
He
late
ain't heavy. He is your brother, right?
Right, to wish me a happy birthday. And he knows all about Morgan State football. But here's our question again. I was surprised we stumped somebody with this. Who's the last shortstop to complete an unassisted triple play? Do you know, Chris?
No, I don't. And George Foreman is in the news again today. Of course, he'll be fighting Scott Ledoux out in Utica tomorrow. And
Scott what?
Scott Ledoux. He was the fellow that I believe Dino Dennis of North Attleboro beat a couple of weeks back. But George Foreman is going to fight him in the Utica Memorial Auditorium. And now he had no comment today on the filing of legal papers charging that he's failed to pay attorney Sergeant Shriver for several years. The senior partner in Shriver's firm says the move is unusual, that the lawyers are certain that Foreman is not aware that Shriver has yet to be paid for past work. And I've got to wonder that, in view of Shriver's unsuccessful presidential bid, that maybe he's trying to call in some old accounts to, make his bank account level off.
Maybe so. I just cannot...
Or maybe he's being shut off from all that Kennedy money. I don't know.
I cannot see George Foreman fighting Scott Ledoux. I mean, that's just no contest at all. It makes no sense to me. Here's a guy, he fought Dino Dennis, and I saw that fight on television. And he's a southpaw, and he tries very hard, but it's ridiculous to me. Some football games are coming up tonight. We've previously mentioned the New Orleans Saints will be at a half-empty Buffalo Stadium, 7:30 tonight. And the Oakland Raiders will play the New York Jets at 8 o'clock. And New York has just finished playing a game on Wednesday night, so we don't know how prepared the New York Jets will be. But Coach Holtz says that Namath will start, but first-round draft choice Richard Todd will see 90% of the action. And that's probably because old Joe is tired after Wednesday night's game.
It should be an interesting confrontation. The Raiders have one of the toughest defenses year in and year out in football, and it'll be interesting to see how the youngster Richard Todd, what type of offense he's going to throw at them, and whether he can read the stunting defenses.
Yeah, and there's a big game this Sunday night down at Schaefer Stadium. I don't want you to forget that. The Green Bay Packers, with Bart Starr and his 50 or 60 men, will face the New England Patriots, and Dr. T predicts that the Patriots will beat the Green Bay Packers by a score of 35-14. It will be the largest victory ever recorded for a Patriot team in exhibition season. They will walk over the Pack. Hello, you're on the radio.
Yes, I was going to call about, you were discussing scholarships before in Ivy League schools.
Yes, sir.
I happen to be a student in an Ivy League school, and I was rather shocked at somebody's idea that there is no such thing as athletic scholarships at Ivy League schools.
Well, then you can correct us then.
I happen to play sports, and I happen to have quite a few friends who do.
Uh-huh.
And there are quite a few athletes of limited IQ who are on free rides.
Did you say limited IQ?
Yes, I would.
Does that mean that they aren't as intelligent as they should be to get into an Ivy League school?
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Caller, I'd like to put this out. For years, I've been under the impression that the Ivy League schools and lots of schools will kind of balance things off. So if a player might not be as intelligent, but if he has some other things going for him, like the fact that he does play sports and outside interests, that they might balance it off. And they can't just accept all the 800s and all A students. It'd be a pretty dull place.
Well, that's true, but it's also the fact that I have a few examples. The first one is...
Caller, before you give your examples, could I interrupt you a minute?
Yes.
Could you just stay on the line because we're very interested in what you have to say, but we have to break for a couple of minutes for some commercials, all right?
Okay, fine.
All right, thank you. We'll be right back.
And now a message from Nautilus in Newton. Wouldn't you like to increase your athletic ability and at the same time enhance your physical appearance? Do it quickly and efficiently with Nautilus equipment. Nautilus training takes just 30 to 40 minutes a workout and increases strength, flexibility, and cardiovascular endurance. Nautilus uses full-range rotary motion with variable resistance to build your natural strength curves, and these gains are easily applied to any athletic activity. Nautilus has an intense summer program for serious athletes now underway. Come down and give Nautilus a try. You receive a free trial workout that will make you a believer in the Nautilus way to better physical fitness. That's Nautilus in Newton, 160 Charlemont Street, near Route 9 and just off Route 128, at exit 56E, Needham Street. The phone number is 965-0380. Call for more information.
We'd like you to know that every night Magoo Saloon, 1391 Washington Street, Route 16, West Newton Square, shows first-rate, full-length motion pictures, and there's no admission charge. Why pay from $2 to $4 to sit in one seat quietly all night when you can go to Magoo Saloon and watch a great flick while you have a drink or something to eat, talk with your friends, or even have a cigarette if you like, plus free hot popcorn when you purchase a pitcher of beer during the movie. So stop in and pick up a movie schedule or call Magoo Saloon at 527-9553. That's Magoo Saloon, 1391 Washington Street, Route 16 in West Newton Square. You can also catch all the televised sports events on Magoo's giant screen television.
All right, it's Friday. We'd like to congratulate Anthony Petriello of Roslindale, Mass., and Asher Safer of Watertown. They've been our two winners today. Hello, you're back on the air, sir.
Yes, I was going to give you a couple of examples. I have to agree with the speaker who said that you have to even out things in the school, because if you had all 800s, it would be rather dull.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take into consideration, as this example is a hockey player who does not speak English, who is brought to an American school to play hockey, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep him eligible, they give him 3 French courses out of 4. 3, starting at the lowest level.
Does that mean he's French?
Yes, he speaks French.
And they give him 3 French courses?
Well,
I hope he's passing them.
Caller, that's really funny. I had a friend of mine that I went to school at BU, and one of our hockey players came down, and he could speak English and French fluently, so the language department didn't realize that, and he wound up taking French as a foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what sport do you play?
I play football.
Do you go to school in the New England area, Ivy League school?
No, I don't.
But you do go to an Ivy League institution?
Yes.
Is it a well-known Ivy League institution?
Well, it's one of the 8.
It's one of the... Oh, all of them... You're saying all of them are well-known,
Sounds to me like it's located somewhere in New Jersey or in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
And they bend their requirements sometime, and they do have athletic scholarships.
What is this, to tell the truth?
They bend them so far sometimes that it's sometimes unfair. I happen to have a friend who does play football, who is a very good athlete, but he has to work part-time also to get through.
Caller, could you call us back at the beginning of the week early, and we could get into this in a little bit of greater depth?
Sure.
All right, thank you very much for your call, all right? Be careful, everyone. This is August the 13th. Drive carefully. Don't swallow any chicken bones. For Chris Haynes, Jim Nance will be back Monday. This is Darrell Johnson, our executive producer, Lynn Shamley. Have a nice weekend. It's going to be 97 degrees. Go to the beach.
WHET, Waltham, Massachusetts. Reminder, the Waltham versus Tulsa game will be heard on WHET at 8:05 this evening.